Welcome back, guys, to this our tutorial on this full course on HTML and CSS for beginners. So in this tutorial we are going to be learning about HTML5 semantic tags. So you are going to learn everything you need to know about HTML5 semantic tags, why and how to use them when building your modern website. So in the previous tutorial, which I'm going to link in the card above, I mentioned the different features HTML5 brings to the table, and I talked of HTML5 semantic tags as one of those features. So what are these HTML5 semantic tags all about? So HTML5 semantic tags tell the browser how the content on our web page is structured. So it helps in search engine optimization, SEO, and it also helps in accessibility. So search engine optimization is a process whereby different websites are ranked based on the content the websites have. So search engine optimization is going to be better for our websites if we use HTML5 semantic tags. And this is because browsers being able to have an idea of the content in our websites and how our website is structured can better rank our websites in comparison to other websites. For accessibility, modern websites nowadays are not all about or useful only to those who can see, but for those who are also visually impaired, the browser being able to have an idea of the content in our website can better translate the information present on our website to those who are visually impaired using things like screen readers. Another very important use or importance of using semantic tags on our websites is the fact that other developers are going to better understand our code. These HTML5 semantic tags are very meaningful. That's using them on your website just gives an idea of why you are using this semantic tag at this position. So other developers looking at your code are going to easily understand it if you use HTML5 semantic tags. So the 7 main HTML semantic tags which we are going to be looking at are the header, the nav, the main, section, article, aside, and footer. Just by the names of these semantic tags, they are self-explanatory. The header is going to be placed at the top and is going to contain things like the branding for the website and the introductory information for new users of the website. The nav is going to contain navigational links to other pages on the website. The main is going to contain the main content of the website, all the text, images, and everything for which the website was intended is going to be in the main. Sections. The main containing the main information of the website can be broken down into different sections based on how much information is present on the website and how the website wants to be sectioned. You can have different sections on your website for different kinds of information. Articles are present inside sections. So a section can have many articles based on how much information is in the section and how you want to split the section. You can have many articles in your section, just like a physical document. The aside is going to be content which is not the main content of your website. Things like adverts can be placed in your aside, and some navigational links to other websites or information which is not the main content of your website is going to be in the aside. The footer is going to, as the name indicates, is at the end of your website. So you are just going to place some other information in your footer, things like the terms and services of your website, the privacy policy, your copyright, and some basic stuff is going to be in the footer, not the main content of your website. So these are the main HTML5 semantic tags we are going to be seeing, and I'm going to better explain them in the next slide, where I'm going to be showing you their relative positions to one another on a web page so that you can better understand how they are used. So if you consider this rectangle as a browser, we can place the different HTML5 semantic tags in different positions. The header is usually going to be at the top of your website, and is where you are going to put the branding information of your website. The footer is going to be at the bottom. This is where your privacy policy, terms of services, copyright, and some other information, some other links can also be in the footer. Your main content is going to have the main content of your website. It's usually the largest section of your website because it's actually what the website is intended for. It's going to contain all the main text, images, buttons, and all the other components that make up your website. The aside is usually going to be for things like adverts and some other links to other stuff which is not the main content of your website. So anything which is not actually what this website itself is intended for, is going to be in your aside. So the header is usually going to have the nav, and the nav contains navigation links. So links to other pages on your website are usually going to be in the nav. You also note that the nav must not be in the header. The nav can still be in a section at the side, or maybe in your aside where you have links to other pages on your website. But the nav must contain those navigation links. That's the function of the nav. The browser on interpreting your web page is going to see the nav and know that that's where the navigation links to other pages on your website are. The main can be made up of different sections based on the volume of content you have on your website. So the main can have as many sections as you want your website to have. And these sections can be made up of different articles. So based on how large a section is and how you want to split the section, you can have different articles in the different sections of your website. So that's how the general structure of your website is. You are going to have the header where you have the branding information and some necessary information that is going to introduce users to your website. It's usually where the user is going to have that ease of being able to move from one page to another in your website. It's just going to give him the general idea of your website. You are going to have the footer where you can have things like copyright information and some other stuff you want to put there. You have the aside where you have content which is not actually the main content, because the main content is always going to be the largest section of your website, because it's where the information for which your website is created is going to be. Being the largest part of the website, it can be broken down into different sections based on how large or how much information you have to put on the website. You can have different sections, and these sections can be made up of different articles. So you have the main and you have the aside. So given that a website, normally you can have other products or other things you want to advertise on your website. You are not going to put them in the main, because that's not what the website is intended for. The website has a particular purpose. So all other stuffs which you just want to reference from your main website, you can put them in your aside as side content. And this is very important because the web browser is going to prioritize content. It's going to know that the main content, or the main, is going to contain the main content of your website. So on devices like mobile devices which you don't have enough space, that's the screens are not this large, the aside cannot fit into the same space you have here. So the browser can move the aside and place it below the main content. Given that the main content is what the viewers want to see on landing on your website directly, the mobile screens not having enough space can move the aside content to be below the main content of your website, and that's actually a good user experience. So having all these HTML5 semantic tags in place is very important for a website. As I explained in the previous slide, It's going to help for search engine optimization, for accessibility, and it's going to help other developers better understand the structure of your website. I also wish to give a note on the fact that a website must not have all these HTML5 semantic tags. Take for example a site which does not have some aside content. It just has some main content. It's not going to have an aside, so you can take that out and there's no problem. Your website must not have all the HTML5 semantic tags. You can also have a website where you don't have many sections, or you don't even have sections at all. The main content is small in such a way that it can just fit into this space and you don't need to split it up into different sections. And that's fine. You just need to ensure that you use the appropriate semantic tags where they have to be used, knowing that the nav bar should contain navigation links to other pages on the website. If you don't have navigation links, if your website is just a single page app with no navigation link, you don't need to use the nav bar. You don't need to use the nav bar because it needs to contain only navigation links. So that's the genuine idea behind using the different semantic tags. So I'm going to be showing how these semantic tags can be applied to a website we created in the previous tutorial. My first website, which I'm going to explain how these semantic tags can be used so that I get the picture of why and how they should be used on a website, and see that all the semantic tags must not be used. You have to use them where they are appropriate. So I've gone ahead and I've opened the project we created in the previous tutorial, my first website. So this website is not a complicated website. It just has the index.html, which is the entry point to the website, the first page of the website. It has styles.css for the styles of the website. In the pages folder, we have the different pages of the website, just two pages, the CSS page and HTML page. So that's the general structure of the website. And if you look at the index.html, it just has some images and it has some links to the other pages on the website. It has a link to the HTML page and the CSS page and to google.com. This one was just for testing. So if we come to the browser, we see that this is the website here. This is the index.html. This is the index.html page, and we have links to the other pages. We have a link to the about.html. So we have the link to the HTML page, which is here is the HTML page. We can go back to the main page and we have a link to the CSS page. So this is the CSS page, and we can go back to the home page. So it's just a simple website with TV pages, the index.html page, the CSS page, and the HTML page. So sorry, I had already come back. All these tabs are tabs which I had already gone back to. So you have the index.html page, we have the HTML page, and we have the CSS page. So these are the TV pages of the website. So I'm going to be explaining to us how we can use semantic tags to structure this website, because when I was making it in the previous tutorial, I did not use HTML5 semantic tags, and for every website, modern website nowadays, you need to use HTML5 semantic tags. If you look at this website, it's very simple. You see that we have no aside content, we have no complicated stuff. The main thing here is we just have, for every page, we have the main content of the page and we have some navigation links. Like on this page, we have the navigation links to different pages and we have the main content of the page. If you go to the CSS page, we have the main content of the page and we have a navigation link here. The HTML page, the same, the main content of the page and navigation link. So the best way we can structure this website using HTML5 semantic tags is to use the main tag to cover all this content of the page, and we use the nav tag to cover these navigation links. So these links are going to be contained in the nav, and this content in the main. Same for all the pages. All this content on the HTML page, CSS page is going to be in the main content for this page, and this one is going to be in the nav. The same for the HTML. All this content is going to be in the main, and this one is going to be in the nav. So let's just head back quick to our code and make that modification. Go to our index.html. So we're going to take all this content in the body from the h1 and just above. We're not going to include these links. These links are going to go to the nav. So we're going to cut this content, all this content, and place it in the main tag. Place it. The same for these links. I'm going to get them, cut it, and place now in the nav. So if I save, you see that now we have, this is the nav, we have the links in the nav, and all the other content is in the main. All the other content is in the main. And on saving it, you take a look at it in your browser, you see that no, the structure, nothing has changed on the website. Physically, you have no change, but behind the scene, the browser now can interpret this website and know that all this content here is the main content of the website, and this one and these other links here are navigational links in your website. Before, without using HTML5 semantic tags, there was no way the browser could tell that these are navigational links of your website and this one is the main content of your website. But on adding HTML5 semantic tags, you give a better understanding, a clear picture to the browser on how the structure of your website is. It's the same thing we are going to do to the CSS and HTML pages. We'll place all this in the main, and we are going to add this link only to the nav. So if we go to our next page, css.html, we are going to grab all this. We are leaving out only the links. So we'll grab all these, place it in the main, and I'm going to grab now this and put in the nav. It's the same thing we'll do in the HTML page. We'll grab all these, put in the main. So this is the main content for this page. Then we grab now all these and put in the nav. So if we save now, we go to our browser, see that nothing has changed, but we know what's happening behind the scenes. It's going to help other developers better understand our code, and it's also going to help the browser know what is what on our website. Help screen readers also for search engine optimization and for accessibility. So if you got value from this tutorial, I would like you to subscribe to this channel if you want to get updates on this kind of content, and you can also give a like if you like the video.